This is the story of the Rotary Club of Dryden's most successful fundraising endeavor. Begun in the 2005-06 Rotary year, it is now operating in its 12th consecutive year. Although the data is from 2015-16, the voiceover was inserted in February of 2019. The club contracts with Dryden's local radio station, CKDR, to broadcast 3 bingo games over 1 hour. The broadcast area is equivalent to the size of an area from Toronto to Windsor, known as Southwestern Ontario. Whereas Southwestern Ontario has a population of 7 million, CKDR's reception area reaches a potential audience of 25,000. As you can see by the map, CKDR is a series of 4 repeater stations plus Dryden. Some reach only a 10-kilometer circumference around the community. The games are broadcast on Thursday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. They begin the week after Canadian Thanksgiving, which means it may be either the second or third Thursday of October, and they run until the final Thursday in April. That results in either 26 or 27 evenings of broadcasting a year. The final game before Christmas and the final game of the season are monster bingos with larger prizes and more expensive cards. The bingo cards are distributed through a network of 23 vendors, 7 in Dryden plus 3 west and 3 east of the town. There are 6 in the Sioux Lookout area, 100 kilometers to the northeast, and 3 in the Red Lake area, 240 kilometers to the north, one of which is Ear Falls. To the east, Ignace has one outlet. There is very little turnover in vendors from year to year. The vendors do not get a commission, but do get a mention on each broadcast and do it for the extra traffic that it generates. Although there is a wide variation in sales between vendors, the average gross sales per vendor is $11,341. Red Lake's vendors, however, do best at nearly $20,000 each, while Sioux Lookout's 6 vendors generate just under $9,000 each. Here you have an overview of the expenses. The prize money is by far the biggest expense, with airtime over CKDR a distant second. However, breaking down the airtime shows that the cost is $16.72 per minute. Everything else, by comparison, is a minor expense. The profit in 2015-16 was a very respectable 57.2%. The next 2 slides present a picture of the radio studio setup. The actual broadcast studio is enclosed in a soundproof room. Along with the CKDR studio assistant, 2 volunteer Rotarians, the caller and the ball turner, work inside the studio. Outside the studio, 3 additional volunteers stand by 3 phones to take winner calls. The 5 nightly volunteers must follow a routine defined by the licensing agency. The number caller must say the number 3 times and reads from a provided script. The reason for the old-fashioned ball mixer is to provide the sound of the balls being mixed. When the calls come in, sometimes 3 at the same time, a strict protocol occurs to verify the number and the accuracy of the claimed winner before the game is concluded. Rotary pays the Dryden Community Living Organization to stuff and sort the envelopes. They also mail them to Red Lake, Ear Falls, and Sioux Lookout, as well as distribute them to the Dryden vendors. The 3 sites east and west of Dryden, a distance of about 40 kilometers, are delivered by volunteer Rotarians. A delivery truck takes them to Ignace at no cost. This slide outlines the procedure for ordering the bingo cards, the number of cards printed, the cost per game to play, the cost per card to play 3 games, and how the winning card is verified and money collected. The most important item is the key number binder. This binder houses small pictures of each card. Where free exists, a sequential number is imprinted. This is used to identify the caller's card and the winning bingo numbers. Only after that is a winner asked for their name and community. 3 games are called. They are the letter X, where the N numbers are not called, and the wee house, where both the B and the O numbers are not called. The prize for each is $500. The final game, called the full house, involves all numbers and takes up to half an hour. Regular sales of over 75% is the norm. This year, 2018-19, the norm is close to 90%. Licensing is controlled by the Ontario Alcohol and Gaming Commission. 3 licenses are required, 1 for the 24 regular games and 1 each for each of the monster games. Because the prize is under $5,500, application is made out to the city's municipal office. The cost is 3% of the value of the prize for each license. The collection of the sales money and unsold envelopes from the vendors occurs when the next week's set is delivered. Community Living picks up in Dryden. The Rotarian volunteers pick up east and west of Dryden. The remote communities mail the money and the envelopes back. They go to the bingo chair, who audits the returns and deposits the funds to the Dryden Rotary Charity Foundation bank account. The winnings and grants are managed by a board of trustees separate from the board of the club. The winnings are managed by the treasurer, who reports to the board 3 times a year. The applications for grants are reviewed at the same meetings. These must follow the rules of the Alcohol and Gaming Commission. The board's recommendations are taken to the general membership to approve at a lunch meeting. We asked ourselves, is this activity a good investment of our Rotary volunteer time? To find out, we calculated the total number of hours required over the course of the 26-week series. The chair does 110 hours in total. It is a big job. The treasurer and other volunteers do another 320 hours for a total of 430 volunteer hours. In 2015, the effort resulted in a gross return of over $800 per volunteer hour. while the profit was a very worthwhile amount, nearly $450 per volunteer hour. This is equivalent to having a take-home pay of nearly $200,000 annually. I think the answer is definitely yes to the question, is this a good investment of a Rotary volunteer time?